Hello, it's me, Vicki Marie, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Please remember to like and subscribe and press the notification bell if you want to see, if you enjoy this video, if you're new to my channel. Please remember to like, subscribe, and press the notification bell if you enjoy this video and you want to see more videos like this. Now then, I've come on today to make this video because I'm absolutely fuming about what's going on with Matthew Perry. You know, absolutely fuming that this man that gave so much to so many people. Now, Matthew Perry, of course, his most famous role is playing Chandler in Friends. He's certainly my very favourite Friends character, you know. And he said, I listened to his audiobook, and he said that he was Chandler, you know, that Chandler, the role of Chandler was made for him. Now, in that, I would definitely recommend that you read his book or listen to the audiobook. It's very touching. It's funny and sad at the same time. He's very honest about all the trials and tribulations that he goes through. Came close to death. Well, on one occasion, certainly, maybe more than one occasion, because all through his life he has had a drug addiction or alcohol addiction, some sort of addiction. He's fallen off the wagon so many times. And it was endearing to hear his story so honestly spoken, because none of us are perfect, are we? None of us are perfect. We've all been through things. We've all done things we wish we hadn't done, etc., etc. And I think Matthew Perry was so very honest. And it's especially haunting because he narrates the audiobook himself, so it's actually his own words. So yeah, he's my favourite character in Friends. And the thing is, when Matthew Perry died, it was one of those, how many times I've watched the Friends episodes, and I know a lot of them off by heart practically. And also it spans a generational thing, Friends, doesn't it? The generational gap. My son, who's in his 20s, he loves Friends. You know, we would always have like a Friends watching binge, if you like, in the because here I live in Spain, in mainland Spain, and here it is the summer that is like the winter in cold countries. It's where you sort of squirrel yourself away, you know, with the aircon on, don't go out because it's just too unpleasant to go out. So you may spend a month where you don't really go out very much at all. And we would always, watch, sort of binge watch CDs, as it was then years ago. It'd be Friends, The Golden Girls, 24, you know, when you used to buy these box sets, Lost, I don't even remember the series Lost. So we would binge watch, you know, now people, it's Netflix, isn't it? But then it was box sets of CDs, and Friends, The Simpsons, etc. And Friends was one of them. So, you know, every summer the Friends box set would come out to be watched yet again, along with all the others over this sort of month of not going out very much. So Matthew Perry or Chandler Bing, or, you know, he feels like someone that I knew, you know. And when he died, I did, you know, make some videos at the time. So very sad because he's only young, really relatively young. The only thing that I always draw comfort was that I believe he was sort of in his jacuzzi looking up at the stars, wasn't he? So I hope, you know, he didn't know anything, I hope. And, you know, his last experience was a nice, comfortable one, pleasant, you know. Unfortunately, he had not shaken off this drug habit. So what I'm really angry about, so you're looking at someone like Matthew Perry, who left such a nice legacy behind. You know, as I say, I'm sure he wasn't a perfect person, but he left the laughter. You know, so you know what it's like. You feeling down, and when you put something like Friends on, and it cheers you up. Also, a lot of the problems that came up in there are problems that we've had. You know, especially Chandler with all his angst. You know, you can relate to it. You can relate to how it feels. And I was saying to my son yesterday, it was like he was Chandler. He said he was Chandler, that the part of Chandler was him, really. But unfortunately for Matthew, he never found his Monica. You know, it was like Monica that sorted Chandler out in the series, wasn't it? But for Matthew, I mean, he did have lots of relationships, and I'm not blaming them for saying that they were, you know, it's their fault they weren't his Monica. But he just never seemed to settle down into a relationship like Chandler eventually did with Monica, and that's a shame. So so very sad when he died, but now I was sad when he died. Now I'm livid, you know, to hear this. These people had been selling him drugs and referring to him as a moron, and it's brought up this wider issue of, you know, trouble is when you're a celebrity, you've got all these hangers on, you know, after your money. They know you've got money, so sometimes having money is an absolute curse, because you know, they're hanging around. How much could they get out of him? That's what we're going to see in a minute. The sort of texts that they were sending to each other. How much do you think we can get out of this moron? You know, so it's not like, oh well, you're buying a bag of cannabis you're a normal person, and it's €10 or whatever it is. But no, you're talking about people are thinking, how much can this man afford? Oh, might only cost us sort of €5. Normally we'd pass it on for €10. Oh, but let's charge him €1,000. Do you know? Because he's at their mercy. He's at their mercy. And then, of course, they've got something over on him as well. If they want to sell their story to the papers or whatever. So it's a really, you know, being famous is not always a good thing. It reminded me a bit of the Michael Jackson sort of saga. You know, his doctor was accused, wasn't he, and of giving him too many painkillers and stuff. You know, that it's hard to be in the public eye all the time. You know, Michael Jackson, that was from when he was a child. You know, he was in the public eye, never had a normal life ever. And many people would think about Matthew. He had a charmed life, really. You know, came from a prosperous family. He landed this part, you know, this dream part, and it kept him working for all those years. But, you know, as I've said before, as far as drugs, substance abuse, alcoholism, all these kind of things, and mental illness, you're not protected by money. You know, it doesn't matter how much money you've got. Sometimes money can make it worse. I always remember a student of mine, her son got into problems with drugs, and he had a lot of friends who were quite wealthy. And she said it's worse because they're not just smoking a joint, you know, they're actually shooting up heroin or taking crack cocaine, or because they could afford the expensive drugs. Whereas, you know, most sort of normal people in normal life tend to have a joint, don't they, I suppose, or whatever. It's not many people can afford to take substances on a regular basis, expensive substances. The more money you earn, the more disposable income you've got, the more you can spend on those drugs if you've got an addictive personality. And some people do have an addictive personality. Some people could try a joint, you know, it's all right, it's okay, didn't really think anything of it, never try another one, or maybe even smoke one every weekend. But some people can't. Some people start smoking marijuana. Sometimes it's a gateway drug to other drugs, or sometimes they just start smoking so much marijuana that they're literally permanently stoned. You know, same with alcohol. You know, some people can go out at the weekend, have a couple of drinks, even maybe have a drink every day or whatever, but not get drunk really, just for the social aspect of it. there's other people who just it gets out of control, and in the end that's all you can think about. I always remember Whitney Houston saying that when she started to get addicted to drugs, it seemed like nothing else was important. Even the singing, the career, her children, nothing was important, because all that matters is the next time you're going to feel that high. So it's very sad, isn't it? But the worst people of all, now these are people who are addicts. They've fallen into that, or, they've got an addictive personality, or they've had a trauma in their life. There's various reasons why somebody might end up becoming an addict. But surely the worst people have got to be the pushers, haven't they? The pushers, the ones that facilitate it. It deserves a video on its own, really, but they don't care about the victim. These are victims. These addicts are victims. All these people that are pushing the drugs to them, they're just caring about the money. It's all about the money, and we can see this in this case. So these need to all go to prison. And we're going to have a look now at the people that have done this. To me, they may as well have murdered him, really. I don't see the difference. When you deliberately sort of push something to someone that might kill them, what is that if it's not murder, or at least manslaughter? So there's been 5 people charged with Matthew Perry's death. 5 people, including 2 doctors. So bear in mind, these are doctors as well. Doctors aren't that sometimes the more I hear about doctors, the more I think, oh my God, they seem to be responsible for half the crime. But anyway, the doctors are alleged to have charged the Friend actor $2,000 for a vial of ketamine they bought for $12. Perry's living assistant has admitted repeatedly injecting the star with the drug. God. So here he is, bless him. Now the thing is, he'll have wanted it. The guy's injected him, and you can't take away the responsibility of Matthew himself, for asking him to inject it. I don't expect he's just been while he's asleep and injected it. So I know that he's responsible too. But even so, I don't know, what was he doing to help him? So one of the doctors accused of the ketamine-related death of trouble friend star, Matthew Perry, wrote in a text, "I wonder how much this moron will pay," prosecutors have alleged. The thing is, if they've got the text, they've got the text. You can't get much more evidential than that, really. So the text was written by Salvador Plasencia, a medical doctor known as Dr. P, who is one of 5 defendants charged in relation to the actor's death, according to prosecutors. Let's just have a look at this video.
If things had gone differently, Matthew Perry may never have become an actor and starred on Friends. In fact, Perry was nationally ranked in a surprising sport as a teenager. The late Matthew Perry was best known for his portrayal of the iconic
He's so handsome. He was just so handsome, I think. But anyway.
Chandler Bing on Friends. His role on the NBC sitcom alongside Courtney Cox, Jennifer Aniston, Matt LeBlanc, David Schwimmer, and Lisa Kudrow made him one of the most recognizable actors in the world, with his natural comedic talent and instinctual humor touching millions of people. The Friends cast reportedly raked in a whopping $1 million each per episode once the show reached its 9th season, and the money didn't.
He makes me smile just looking at him, and his relationship with all the other characters, like with Joey Janice, she was a brilliant character. All of them such good characters. It's such a good series.
Stop there. USA Today claims each cast member also gets 2% of the rerun revenue Warner.
Oh, that's it. That was an abrupt ending. Anyway, others charged include Jasween Sanger, known as the Ketamine Queen. These people, they deserve long sentences. They're peddling misery to people. When you think about what I was saying about Matthew and the legacy he leaves, much as he wasn't a perfect person, most people, they'll think about Matthew and smile like I do. As soon as I think of him, as soon as I think back to any of his scenes, etc., I smile because I've had so much, there's many a time when my life's been miserable and I've put friends on and it's cheered me up. So that's a legacy that is left to the world. And in your life, really, that's what they say, isn't it? The only thing really, because you're guaranteed to die, everyone's guaranteed to die, nobody gets away with it. But you've got to try and leave the world a better place than when you came in it, even if it's just your small way. Like, even if it just means that you haven't, hurt anyone, or you've tried to do good for people, or helped animals, or, just that you'll be able to look back at the end of your life and think, yes, I'm not perfect. I did, but instead of concentrating on the things you did wrong, because there'll be when I come to the end of my life, there'll be lots of things that I'll look back and think, oh shit, why did I do that? But also there'll be things that I think, no, but I'm proud that I did this and I did that, and I helped that person, or I looked after these animals, or you've got to find, it doesn't have to be a great big thing. Not everybody can go off and save the world, but just a little thing. And of course, is that expression, isn't there? Is it in the Bible, or in they also serve who stand and wait? So, you're even just as long as you're not doing anything bad to someone, you don't have to do massive things. There's little things you can do, just smiling at someone in the supermarket, which I don't always do. And sometimes I have to remind myself, because I hate going to the supermarket. I've been this morning and I have to tell myself all the way as I'm walking around, look, you're lucky you can come to the supermarket, and people, some people had very kindly sort of sent me some things, and I'd gone to the supermarket to buy some nice stuff because it's my birthday today. And thank you so much, those of you that sent me little gifts, let's say. And I have to make myself smile at people sometimes, because I'm not a peoply person. I am a peoply person. I like chatting with my friends and this sort of thing. But I don't like going to supermarkets where there's a lot of people that I don't know and they're all barging into you and getting in your way. I'm a bit anti, especially if it's busy. It's all right if it's quiet. Anyway, so I have to really make myself. But, I know what it's like when I'm if somebody just does one nice thing to you, for you then feel great, don't you? So you've got to try, even if it's just smiling at someone. It's important, these things. And I forget that sometimes. I got a bit annoyed with the woman this morning who was just literally standing in my way. But then afterwards, I thought, well, she looked a bit confused. Maybe she had a little bit of dementia or not. But sometimes we act in a moment. I didn't do anything. I didn't sort of shove her out the way or not, but I sort of tutted. And I thought about it afterwards and I thought, no, I shouldn't have done that, because maybe she's just a bit confused or whatever. But, I'm not perfect. I do get irritated, and I'm not like a perfect person. I have to accept that about myself as well. But then I can reason it in my mind, I sort of apologise to her in my head and put a little bubble around her and sent her off. To have a nice day, or mentally, I didn't literally put a bubble around it, but you know what I'm saying. So we can do nice things, even just small things, and no matter how small, you don't know what an effect. I remember things that people have done years later. Thought, I remember when somebody did that for me, or said that to me, or gave me a smile, or made me feel better, was kind to me at a time when I wasn't, when I really needed it. So we do remember those things. So that's the impact you can make on the world in small ways that maybe to somebody else is a big way on that particular day. Look what these twonks are doing. Look at so when they die, when they go up to the pearly gates or go down, whatever, and they're asked like, oh, well, what did you do in your life? Oh, I pushed drugs at extortionate prices to famous people, and actually I was responsible for the death of Matthew Perry, who was in Friends and brought loads of pleasure to lots of people. You know, so you've got to think about it. I tell you what, you might get away with things in this world, but I don't believe you get away with them in the next world. And even if you think, oh no, I don't believe in all that sort of thing, are you absolutely sure? Could you go out and do something really bad to someone, and then when it came to the moment you were passing over to the next world, would your soul rest easy? Would you be scared? Because you should be scared. So I believe everyone pays for everything. Ultimately, I do believe that personal responsibility. I don't mean I believe, you know, that you'd be chained up, you know, in fire and brimstone. I don't mean that. I mean, you have to account for what you've done. How? I'm not quite sure. But it's like karma, isn't it? You know, karma, I've seen that happen so many times to me or to other people. Definitely karma is a thing. Now, of course, until we actually pass over to the other side, we don't know exactly what happens there. But anyway, so yeah, others charged include Jasween Sangha, known as the Ketamine Queen, Kenneth Iwamasa, Perry's living personal assistant, Eric Fleming, an acquaintance of the TV star, and another doctor, Mark Chavez. So 5 people that were involved in this. So Iwamasa and Fleming have already pleaded guilty to charges relating to Perry's death, while Chavez, a San Diego physician, has agreed to plead guilty to conspiracy to distribute ketamine. Oh, so this is her. This is the ketamine queen, Jasween Sangha. Well, I'll tell you what, Jasween, I hope you go to prison for a long time. I really do. Go to prison. Go to prison. You won't look like that maybe when you come out. You know, it just makes me so angry because, do you know what? It won't only be Matthew. There'll be lots of people that this woman will have caused the deaths of, you know, indirectly. And they just won't be as famous as Matthew. It won't have come to, you know, people won't know about it. She'll have done other things. There'll be other people involved. Same as him, Salvador Plasencia. You know, hope you go to prison. I absolutely hope you go to prison. Mark Chavez, doctor. You know, and this is the problem. We tend to trust doctors, don't we? But, you know, but doctors do terrible things. And this is his living assistant, I think, Kenneth Iwamasa. Anyway, on Thursday afternoon, Plasencia pleaded not guilty to the charge against him, and his trial is scheduled to start on the 8th of October. The judge agreed to $100,000 bail bond with some additional conditions. Plasencia was also granted permission to keep running his medical practice where it was not related to controlled substances while he was on bail, as long as he posted a note explaining his circumstances and that each patient signed a form stating they knew about the charges against him. Well, I'll tell you what, if I was one of his patients, I'd be gone. Sangha pleaded not guilty but was not released on bail, as she had already been on bail after being arrested in March for a previous drug charge. That bail bond was rescinded on Thursday due to the concern of flight risk and the fact that she had asked a co-conspirator to delete text messages. Her trial is scheduled for the 15th of October. So this all comes after Matthew was found dead in a swimming pool at his California home in October 2023. I could still cry thinking about that. That was such a shock. A grand jury indictment filed in California alleges Plasencia sold ketamine and paraphernalia such as syringes to Perry's assistant and taught him how to inject the drug after the actor developed an addiction while seeking mental health treatment. Ketamine in recent years has seen a huge surge in use as a treatment for depression, anxiety, and pain.
This is the apartment block in North Hollywood where one of the 5 people charged in connection with Matthew Perry's death lived. She is 41-year-old Jasmine Sanger. Prosecutors say she's a drug dealer who's known informally as the ketamine queen. They say that from an address in this area, she ran a drug-selling emporium, in their words, ultimately supplying Matthew Perry with the vial of ketamine that killed him. I've been speaking to some of Jasmine Sanger's neighbours inside this apartment block. They said they often saw her coming and going, that on occasion she had loud parties. One gentleman said he heard her door, in his words, being busted open by someone one evening. He's not sure if police were called on that occasion. He said he saw people coming with briefcases and guitar cases, but never imagined that someone living just a couple of doors down from him could be connected to Perry's death.
Yeah. So Drug Enforcement Administration Administrator Anne Milgram said Matthew sought treatment for depression and anxiety and went to a local clinic where he became addicted to intravenous ketamine. When clinic doctors refused to increase his dosage, sorry, I'm just making sure I can see this okay, he turned to unscrupulous doctors who saw Perry as a way to make quick money. You see, this is the problem. So the clinic doctors, they're acting in his best interest, but of course he's an addict, he wants the drug. So he's going to go to these people. Prosecutors allege that Chavez funneled ketamine to Placencia, securing some of the drug from a wholesale distributor through a fraudulent prescription. In one instance, prosecutors alleged that Placencia charged Perry $2,000 for a vial that had cost him approximately $12. Now, you know, that's it. Money, isn't it? Money is the root of all evil. How could he sleep at night, though? Because, look, anyone's supposed to make a profit. You know, if I bought some, I'm not talking about drugs, but, you know, I don't know, if I bought something and I had a shop and I was selling stuff, you have to make a profit, don't you? Of course you do. That's how business works. But that much profit, that's just... You know, apart from the whole drug side of it, which is wrong, ethically wrong, morally wrong, the money side of it is wrong. How does he get off charging? He's just charging what he thinks Matthew will pay. Across a 2-week period in early October 2023, Placencia received $32,000 from Iwamasa, including $21,500 in cash, in exchange for ketamine, the indictment alleges. These defendants took advantage of Mr. Perry's addiction issues to enrich themselves. They knew what they were doing was wrong. Prosecutors say Perry suffered a health scare on the 12th of October when he froze up and suffered high blood pressure after being injected with a large dose of the tranquilizer. Let's not do that again, Placencia wrote to Iwamasa after the incident. See, this must be one of them.
We noticed some weird people coming in and out with briefcases and stuff, and sometimes instrument cases. So I thought it was like musicians too. And then, yeah, one night, like someone came, like tried to bust her door down, and there was like a lot of commotion in the hallway. It's pretty bizarre. I never really thought that would kind of be something that I'd be like next door to. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of surreal and like scary, I guess. I don't know.
So you never know who you're living next door to, do you? But in the days leading up to Matthew's death, his assistant was administering at least 6 shots of ketamine a day. In mid-October, Iwamasa also allegedly began obtaining ketamine from Perry's acquaintance Fleming and ketamine queen Sanger. I've got a little video of her. Don't know, there's no video there. Wonder if it's been taken down. Anyway, so the assistant administered ketamine to the Friend star. He injected at least 3 shots on the 28th of October, resulting in his death. and serious bodily injury, and he is the one that found him dead in his California home. Let's watch what the police had to say.
Major source of drug supply known as, quote, the ketamine queen. We charged 5 defendants in this matter. These defendants took advantage of Mr. Perry's addiction issues to enrich themselves. They knew what they were doing was wrong. They knew what they were doing was risking great danger to Mr. Perry, but they did it anyways. In the end, these defendants were more interested in profiting off Mr. Perry than caring for his well-being. I'm going to talk about the indictment, the allegations, and the charges in more detail. On October 28, 2023, Mr. Perry was found deceased in his home. An autopsy was conducted following his death. That autopsy showed that he had died due to the acute effects of ketamine. Ketamine is a controlled substance. It has some legitimate uses, but it is also used illegally. It is used by people seeking to disassociate from reality. It can cause serious health effects, serious health problems, including loss of consciousness, including spikes in blood pressure, and including respiratory issues that can deprive the brain of oxygen. For that reason, it is a drug that must be administered by medical professionals, and the patient must be monitored closely. That did not occur here. This investigation focused on who supplied the ketamine to Mr. Perry. As many of you know, Mr. Perry struggled with addiction in the past. And on many occasions, he sought help.
You know, it's so sad, isn't it? He struggled with it so many times, and like I said, he sought help. He came through it. You know, you saw that actually in the Friends episode. You know, he'd put on weight, he'd lose weight, and you could see almost his journey going along there. And in his book, he said that the only year or the only season that he was completely sober through the whole season, that was the season he won an award. Because the rest of the time, although I don't think it came over to us, I mean, I thought he was brilliant, but half the time he was just high as a kite all the way through his filming, etc., for one reason or another. But the one year that he was clean, he won an award. That's the only award he won.
For his addiction issues. The investigation revealed that in the fall of 2023, Mr. Perry fell back into addiction, and these defendants took advantage to profit for themselves. The 2 lead defendants in this case are defendants Salvador Plasencia and defendant Jasvin Sanya.
Yeah. So very sad. So he'd only just fallen back into it, according to this. So the prosecutor said the defendants exchanged messages referencing ketamine as the cause of his death soon after it happened. See, that's how stupid they are as well. They're stupid. They're sending messages to each other. At a press conference announcing the charges, Mr. Estrada said they also tried to cover up their involvement in supplying the actor with the drug. So here they are, Jasvin Senga, 41-year-old ketamine queen. 1 count each of conspiracy to distribute ketamine, maintaining a drug-involved premises, possession with intent to distribute methamphetamine, possession with intent to distribute ketamine, and 5 counts of distribution of ketamine. Dr. Salvador Plasencia, he's pled not guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute. Kenneth Iwamasa, 54, has pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine and also admitted injecting him with ketamine without medical training. So Eric Fleming, Perry's acquaintance, 54, pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine and 1 count of distribution, and admitted to giving Iwamasa the ketamine that killed Perry. And then Dr. Mark Chavez, got to be the worst, hasn't it? The doctor, the San Diego physician, 54, pled guilty, one count of conspiracy to distribute. He admitted selling ketamine to Dr. P and obtaining it via fraudulent prescription and making false representation to a wholesale ketamine distributor. And the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office attributed Perry's death, Matthew's death, to the acute effects of ketamine, a sedative that can be used as a recreational drug as well as to treat depression. I don't know if any of you have had any experience with it, either yourself, family members, friends, etc. I've never luckily nowadays, I don't know, I don't have to get involved in any drug environments, but I never heard of ketamine myself. I don't know if it's popular in Spain, don't know if it's popular in Britain, or if it's more of an American thing. It just makes you think how many people are on it. So police said back in May they were working with federal authorities to investigate the source of the ketamine that the 54-year-old actor had consumed. So he had been undergoing ketamine infusion therapy to treat depression and anxiety, but his last session took place more than a week prior to his death. And the report said the amount of ketamine in his blood was in the range used for general anaesthetic during surgery. Dear me. So the Star had been open about his battle with substance abuse and addiction, and he had also set up a sober living facility for men with similar issues. So he tried to turn his his bad experiences into a positive by setting up this facility. I hope that carries on in his name. I don't know how that'll all work, but the thing is, at least I do think Matthew will be remembered. That that the main thing I'm trying to say in this video is think about the legacy that you're leaving to the world. That's why I spread love, not hate. What legacy? You might look all pretty and you're all done up and you've got your nice clothes and everything, but you won't always be young and attractive. What you're going to do when you're coming up to that time when you're going to pass over? Will you be looking back on your life and saying, oh yeah, I made a positive difference to the world? Same as you, same for you. Did you make a positive difference to the world? Now I feel a little bit sorry for his assistant, because I think probably what's happened is Matthew Perry has asked him to do it, so I suppose you're in between a rock and a hard place in a way. But still, he shouldn't have done it, and not the number of times. He should have gone to Matthew's family. Matthew's mum, Matthew's stepdad is that Keith, somebody who's on these crime shows and things. He should have gone to someone and said, look, he's out of control again. Just these people, him, etc. They don't care about anybody. They just care about the dinero. How much money can we get out of this moron? That's what you said, wasn't it? And then poor Matthew. So yeah, I just wanted to come on, even though I wasn't planning on doing a video today. I just wanted to come on and show you that think about the legacy that you leave into the world. And also I wanted to say rest in peace, Matthew. Okay, so I'll see you really soon in the next video, and until then, may your God go with you. And I'm going to play out just with the photo of Matthew, but please don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the content, if you found this video interesting, and I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, oh look, there's Riley there. Hello Riley, hello. I always get photobombed by a dog, don't I? Look, I'm being photobombed by Riley, but he's a very pretty dog, isn't he? Oh, okay. Adios.